Hello, everybody, and welcome very much to our webinar today. We're going to be talking about mood. And wow, with the pandemic that we're having and just the gloomy weather and everything that's going on in our lives, our moods are just all over the map. So I'm really glad that you're here. We're going to be talking about some, things. You probably know all this stuff, but a lot of it really helps to be reminded of it. And also it'll make it a difference so that you'll be able to maybe find something new that might be able to help you a little bit. So my name is Michelle Nagel, and I am called America's #1 resilience expert. And I'm a best-selling author, a speaker, a coach, and I've worked with people for the past 35 years, which is scary to be able to actually say that out loud, but I've helped people who have experienced trauma in their lives to overcome the effects of that trauma on their regular life. We have a tendency to think like we're not children anymore, therefore how could the trauma that we've experienced as a child affect us today? But it does. And oftentimes, if you have an experience, you respond to that experience not as the adult that you are right now, but actually as the child that experienced the same thing or at least something close to it. It's a trigger. That's what we talk about, the triggers. So I'm going to be, things that happened in your past obviously affect your moods because the memories come up. It may be a happy memory. You remember a time, maybe the birth of your first child, or when you got your first puppy, or you got to ride a horse or go on your first trip or something like that. That usually evokes feelings of happy feelings and wonderful things that we're excited about. And then of course, the reverse is also true. We can have things that will trigger us, and we can have really negative responses, really negative emotions and feelings to it. So thank you again for being with me, and we're going to be talking about this for the next half hour to 45 minutes. It's not going to be terribly long, but I do think that you'll find something in here that'll be really useful and helpful. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to once I get that on there. Okay. And then I'm going to get rid of my picture so that I won't be over here in the corner distracting you. So there we go. Okay. So how do you boost your moods? A mood is a temporary state of mind or feeling. And we usually associate those moods with emotions, and we can use descriptive words to describe those emotions or moods. And so positive mood descriptors are called blissful, cheery, joyful, mellow, silly, and negative mood descriptors are annoyed, cranky, and grumpy, or irritated and sad. Now, it's really important that you understand that there really is no such thing as a good emotion or a bad emotion. Emotions are just barometers to let you know what is going on in your world, so you know then whether or not you need to change something. So if you just kind of go, oh, I'm feeling really sad right now, don't just sit there in the, oh my gosh, I'm feeling sad. Actually kind of explore it a little bit. It's like, oh, I'm feeling sad. What's that all about? And then if you can understand that a little bit more, then maybe you can shift it. So happiness researcher Sonia Limbrowski has identified 3 influences of mood. She reports that personality traits predispose our particular moods, which account for 50% of our set point of happiness. 40% is influenced by what we do deliberately to make ourselves happy, while the remaining 10% is attributed to life circumstances. So to kind of translate that, what it means is that the personality traits predispose our particular moods. So your personality may be that you may be just, a Betty Boop kind of person, or you may be somebody who's more serious. It is life circumstances. They talk about life circumstances, which is only 10%, but the personality is shaped and formed by what has happened to you in your childhood. And so that's where the 50% comes from. And that's why it's important to deal with all the stuff that's back there. If you just ignore your childhood and pretend it never happened and it's not a problem, then it's not going to be helpful for you. And so 40% is what we do deliberately to make ourselves happy. So we are able to actually change our state. But I was talking to somebody just yesterday, actually, who said, I don't really understand what's going on with me. All the things I used to find funny aren't funny anymore. And I don't think that it's necessarily that that's a personality shift. I just think that's because of the growth process that she's gone through, that things that maybe were a little more on the baser level that she used to think is funny, she doesn't think is funny anymore. And that's actually not a negative thing. It's a positive thing. So, but again, you can change the way you're feeling. You can change your mood. So, there we go. So, and I just talked about that. There we go. So, genetics, though, is like that's the part that you inherited. That's the part that you got. You got some from your mother. You got some from your father. You came with your own too, because if you are a parent, you know that your children oftentimes it's like you'll stand there going, where did you come from? Because you're nothing like anybody else in the family. So, but oftentimes there is a mood disorder. So it affects over 20 million Americans, with major depression and bipolar disorder being among the most common types of mood disorders. So genetics are known to play a major role in influencing susceptibility to mood disorders. If your parent had mood disorders, there is a possibility, it's not a guarantee, but there is a possibility that you might also have them. So we can't influence our genetic predisposition. There are medical and natural methods for boosting mood. Once diagnosed with a mood disorder, please keep in mind to always follow your doctor's advice and use alternative therapies if they are appropriate for you. So if you're on a drug, don't stop cold turkey, because that's actually very harmful for you. But there are alternative therapies that are very appropriate for people. So your answer is not in a bottle. It's something that that we can figure out a different way to do it. So if 50% of our genetics is, if our happiness is determined by genetics, that means the other 50% is something that we can influence. And lifestyle, there we go. Lifestyle choices are the biggest influencer we have control over. So surprisingly, what we eat can affect our mental and emotional health. Certain foods can bring about changes in your brain structure, both chemically and physiologically, which can lead to altered behavior. And the amount of sleep you get each night also affects your mood. There's nothing worse than being sleep deprived while trying to maintain positive during trying times. And unfortunately, a lot of us have taken to having really bad sleep patterns during this pandemic because everything is a mess. So one of the things that you can do is that you can get back into what we call sleep hygiene and make sure that you get your proper sleep. So physical activity has been shown to affect mood in different ways too. And while the link between depression and anxiety and exercise aren't entirely clear, we do know that these mood disorders can improve with regular exercise. So living in the past is where you get depressed. You can't change anything about what's happened in the past. You can't do a darn thing about it. The past is gone. It's just the way it is. And that's where depression comes from, is when you're looking back. And when you're looking forward, that's where anxiety comes from, because you don't know what's going to happen. And so you've experienced this fear of the unknown. And so being present here right now will be very helpful. If you can train your brain to stay in the present here and now, that'll be very helpful. So what we eat impacts us in both a positive and a negative way. We need food as fuel. However, different nutrients have different effects on your mood. So the more nutrients that you want to get more of are omega-3 tryptophan, vitamin D, and selenium. So when I was in Switzerland, I was at a clinic there, and the doctor told me that I needed more vitamin D. And I said, "What are you talking about? I'm outside all the time." And she looked at me with just a completely deadpan face and said, "Are you outside naked?" It's like, well, no, I'm not. And so she was going, not enough of your body is exposed to the sunlight to be able to get the amount of vitamin D that you need. So I just thought that was kind of funny. We don't think of that as vitamin D because the sun is shining. We're out in the sun, right? But not enough of our body is exposed to it to be able to. Now, I'm not suggesting that we all start, streaking and running around with no clothes on, but if that helps a little bit to understand why you can be in the sunshine and still be vitamin D deprived. And one of the important things that they've discovered with this pandemic is that you do need vitamin D to enhance your immune system so that you can avoid having the virus. So foods to avoid. You're not going to like some of these. Caffeine, you should avoid that. Sugar, you avoid that. And unhealthy fats. Now, those are some things that are really hard because the United States, especially, have gotten so that we eat so much sugar all the time. It's in absolutely everything. It's even in a can of pineapple. It's like, why would they put sugar in pineapple? It's because they actually process when it's the pineapple before it's ripe. And so it doesn't have time to get sweet. So they throw sugar in there. Check your can and see what it says. So omega-3 polyunsaturated fatty acids have been the subject of much research over the years, and studies show a link between healthy fat and depression. So omega-3 is naturally found in fatty fish, flaxseed, and walnuts. Research also suggests that omega-3s appear to affect neurotransmitter pathways in the brain. There are 3 neurotransmitters which affect aspects of personality, including mood. These neurotransmitters include dopamine, serotonin, and noradrenaline. The balance of these neurotransmitters is heavily dependent on nutrition. So, healthy fats are things like avocados are healthy fats, nuts and seeds are healthy fats. And coconut oil is a healthy fat. Like they said, fatty fish is a healthy fat. Those are things that are really, really good for you, and your body needs them. And so if we get into the point of where, oh, well, I'm not going to eat fats because they make me fat. Well, healthy fats do not make you fat. So dopamine is involved in focus, drive, attention, memory, and clear thinking. Increased dopamine increases your levels. It boosts your feelings of pleasure. And the elevation of dopamine levels often leads to an improvement in mood. So if you've got, low dopamine levels, then you can adjust that by the things that you eat. That will be very helpful. Serotonin is the most studied neurotransmitter. It regulates mood, anxiety, arousal, aggression, impulse control, and thinking abilities. So serotonin deficiency is associated with low mood. So serotonin deficiency is also associated with aggression and impulse control. So if you find that, it's like, I've felt this way, so I know it's like you can't control yourself. Like your body is just going to do its own thing, and you're sitting there along for the ride. It might be that you're having challenges with your serotonin. So noradrenaline, norepinephrine, is synthesized from dopamine, which is involved in mood elevating action. So that's a lot of like science and chemicals and stuff like that, and it's kind of complicated, but you just realize that these things that you need, the dopamine and the serotonin and the noradrenaline and norepinephrine and stuff like that, it is included in your food. It's helpful for you to be able to eat that. So, we've got so much we've got the low carb craze, like the keto diet. Everybody's saying that we shouldn't have carbs. And if you look on that plate, there's carbs there. All of that stuff is really healthy stuff, though. I mean, everything on that plate is good for you. And so smart carb choices are whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and legumes. And tryptophan levels in the brain influence the amount of serotonin our brain can create. So the tryptophan, which is created when you eat these whole healthy foods, then it goes into your body, it's processed by your body, and your brain is going, ooh, food, and then you feel better. So you're going to feel better if you eat whole foods. So tryptophan is abundant in most protein-rich foods, but other amino acids that are also present cause the tryptophan to compete for absorption into the bloodstream. And that isn't the case with smart carbohydrate choices. With whole foods, you don't have that problem. There's no competition there. With the unhealthy carbs, then it isn't. You've got a competition going on in your body, and your body's going to lose. So when eating smart carbs, more tryptophan enters the brain, increasing the synthesis of serotonin, allowing a steady positive mood boost. So, a lot of people would look at this plate and they'd go, ew, it's rabbit food. But everything on there is going to support your brain function and your mood, and also the health of your body. So don't buy into the count every single carb that you put into your body. There's a lot of people who are on the keto diet, which, by the way, is just a new version of the Atkins diet. They just named it something else, where you eat a whole lot of meats and high protein and stuff. So if you have a balanced meal, and don't worry about the low carbs, then you're going to be healthier. You're going to feel better. So a study conducted at the University of Toronto reports increased vitamin D improved the mood in those suffering from depression, especially those with seasonal affective disorder. So I normally struggle with seasonal affective disorder, and I look outside my window today and it is so incredibly gloomy. I don't feel quite the way I normally do, though, because I take my vitamin D since my doctor told me to. So it's not that much of a challenge for me anymore. Vitamin D levels increase the levels of serotonin in the brain, much like tryptophan in smart carbs. Supplements are available. However, food and sunlight are the best forms of this essential vitamin. So other sources of vitamin D would be wild caught fish, not farmed fish, but wild caught. Egg yolks, everybody tells you, oh, don't eat the egg yolks, they'll cause you to have cholesterol, don't eat them. But the egg yolks is where you're going to end up with the vitamin D. It's sunny for a reason. It looks that way because it's got vitamin D in it. Canned fish, so, tuna fish, whatever those anchovies, those kinds of things. And shiitake mushrooms, almond milk, fortified orange juice, and oatmeal. So I was a little bit surprised with the orange juice because, we think of orange juice as vitamin C, but apparently if it's fortified orange juice, it also has vitamin D in it. So selenium is a mineral naturally found in soil and has been linked to preventing mood swings and depression. In fact, low levels of selenium have been linked to poor mood. The recommended intake for adults is 55 micrograms per day. So now food again. So foods rich in selenium include seafood like oysters, clams, sardines, crabs, saltwater fish, and freshwater fish. Nuts and seeds, particularly Brazil nuts, which I think is tragic because I don't like them, but they're good for you. And lean meat like lean pork and beef, skinless chicken and turkey, and whole grains, whole grain pasta, brown rice, oatmeal, quinoa, beans and legumes. And the thing about the beans and legumes, though, they need to be soaked. And if you just open up a can, those beans haven't been soaked 9 times out of 10. So if you make your own chili or whatever it is you're making, bean soup, make sure you soak them because it gets rid of the chemical in the bean that causes gas. Very helpful. Your tummy doesn't get so upset. Okay, now this is really kind of interesting. So look at how this word is spelled, C-A-C-A-O, and it's pronounced cacao. And it originates from the same plant as cocoa, which is C-O-C-O-A. So just the last, change up those letters a little bit. It's very interesting. And they're very, very different animals. So the process that they go through differs, creating two different products. Cacao offers numerous benefits that cocoa doesn't. So it has antioxidants, which are responsible for 10% of the weight of raw cacao. And epicatechin is a powerful flavonoid and natural mood booster, which contains 20 times more antioxidants than blueberries. We all know that blueberries are supposed to be considered a superfood, a power food, but cacao, the way that it's processed, not cocoa, it actually has 20 times more antioxidants than the blueberries do. And it increases the levels of your neurotransmitter, serotonin. So this helps balance mood swings and restore feelings of well-being. It also contains anandamide, which is a well-known mood booster, and it's produced naturally in the brain as the body's own natural antidepressant. So the cacao has something that your own brain also already produces, and it comes in various forms, including a powder, and raw cacao nib form. So the raw form of the cacao is, you can see that there are beans there, and the ones off to the right they're just chopped up beans, basically. So people sometimes don't like the cacao because it's bitter, but it's got so much more healthy benefits for you than cocoa does. The cocoa that you find in the store, like even the ones that you look at that say, dark chocolate is 70, 80%, whatever, is still cocoa. It has been processed beyond. So check and look at the back of if you decide to get some, make sure that it's cacao, that it's raw, that it is, that it doesn't have, the other benefit is that cacao has flavor. It is a little bit bitter, but it doesn't have the sugars that cause people to have diabetes and other problems like that. So what can you do with it then? So if you get it in the raw cacao nib form, you can sprinkle it over oats or yogurt for a treat. You could mix it in like that. You can also do that with the powder form. It can be made into a drink. It can be blended into smoothies. So if you're making a smoothie and you put in like a tablespoon or two of that, then the natural sweetness of the vegetables and fruit that you're using would reduce any bitterness that you would complain about with the cacao, I think. So the next thing, we already talked about sleep, but sleep and mood are inherently connected, as poor sleep can cause irritability and stress can cause sleeplessness. So people are going, oh, I'm so exhausted, I'm so tired, I go to bed, I can't go to sleep. Well, it's because you're under so much stress. So it's important to be able to figure out how not to do that anymore. Adopting regular sleep habits is crucial to getting the proper amount of sleep your body needs. And the following are a few steps that you can start taking today. Because again, I know myself, I really struggle with keeping my regular sleep pattern, my sleep habits, or my sleep hygiene, because this pandemic has just messed everything up for everybody. So keep a regular sleep-wake schedule. Go to bed at the same time every night and get up at the same time every day, even if you don't have anything to look forward to because you're stuck home on lockdown or something. Avoid caffeine too late in the day. Sometimes if I eat chocolate at night, I cannot sleep. So I avoid chocolate like the plague. I eat it in the morning. I can't eat it at night. Start a calming pre-sleep routine, which doesn't mean watching a really exciting adrenaline pumping movie. That's not a way to be able to make it so that you're going to be able to sleep well. And exercising regularly and early on in the day. A lot of people feel that if they exercise just before they go to bed, then that's just as good as if they get up and exercise in the morning. But it actually does impact your sleeping and the depth that you sleep to, because you get all that adrenaline pumping through your body while you're doing your exercises. And how are you supposed to go to sleep when you've got all that adrenaline pumping in? So it's a problem. So the goal is to calm your mind after a hectic day. Even if it's just a day of trying to figure out how to live life in the pandemic. So take 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime to help calm your mind, as getting plenty of sleep will help boost your mood the next day. And try adding some of these tips to ensure a peaceful night's sleep, like unplug. So get off your computer, put your phone down, get rid of the earbuds. I see people walking around with them in their ears 24/7 practically. I'm not with them obviously at nighttime, but it's like it's like something growing out of their ears because they can't be without it. Figure out a way to get rid of that. Electronics stimulate brain activity. So find a good book and read a little each night to help calm your mind and make your eyes sleepy. Spend a few minutes doing your favorite stretches with yoga. So not only will your body appreciate this as you age, because it'll help keep you flexible, but it will also feel more relaxed and ready to rest. Journal. Write down worries and tell about your experiences, and your children and grandchildren will appreciate knowing what you've been through in 2020. So write those things down. It'll help you to write down the worries, and it'll help you to keep from feeling like you have to remember them. So you put them somewhere. It's like taking it out of your brain. The pensive in the Harry Potter things, where they would take the memories out of their brain and put them in this pensive, and that's where they would store them if their brain was too occupied. It's the same kind of thing, writing down in the journal. And there is a brain-hand connection, which is really important. So don't spend your time again on electronics and type them into like an online journal or something like that. There really is something important between the hand-eye and brain coordination kind of a thing. And when you do that and then write down the things that you're journaling, then it's like, oh, I put this down here. I put this worry down right here. I don't have to remember it. I don't have to worry about it because I know where it is. It's right there. And then get up. If after 20 or 30 minutes of tossing and turning, simply get out of bed. Return to a different room and resume your calming activity for another 15 minutes. So if you're tossing and turning and lying in bed and staring at the ceiling, and it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you simply cannot go to sleep, and you think, I don't want to get up because if I get up, well, just get up, but go do a more calming thing. Or sometimes it helps if you can maybe put some soothing music on somewhere where you're not, like in another room where you can still hear it, but you don't have the electronic device next to you. So anyway, again, don't just lay there and toss and turn. Get up and do the calming activity again. So physical activity and its mood boosting effects have been the subject of numerous studies, and the results of these studies indicate that exercise can trigger positive emotional processing, reduce negativity, resist stress, reduce anxiety by increasing serotonin levels, and it improves body satisfaction, leading to overall satisfaction. When you feel good in your body, when you feel good in the vehicle you have to move around in, or you have to be seen in, it does. It really helps you feel a whole lot better. So there's strong evidence that physical activity improves both short-term and long-term mood also. So studies further show people who exercise regularly exhibit general overall happiness. And so as such, physical activity is especially important for those vulnerable to depression or seasonal affective disorder. So it helps to get outside even if it's a gloomy day, because you're outside, you're breathing in the fresh air, and it really is tremendously helpful. And so this activity, taking a walk in nature, it's twofold. You get the benefits of released endorphins for walking while enjoying nature, which is by itself a natural mood booster. So if you're not sure what local parks or nature preserves are around, because maybe you're new in the area, ask somebody or look on the internet, and there are more places than you'd think. So look for historical neighborhoods and parks, botanical gardens and walking trails, beaches, lakes, rivers, something like that. I use an app called All Trails and explore all sorts of places that I've never been before. So I really enjoy, it's like, oh, I want to go for a hike today. Where am I going to go? I have no idea. I look at All Trails and I'm going, oh, I didn't know that was in my area. And then I'm able to explore new and different things. That keeps me from getting bored, because I do get bored when I walk on the same trail over and over and over again. So being around animals also is a natural mood booster. Animals are the coolest people. Spend a few minutes a day either walking your pet or playing outside or borrowing somebody's animal. So if your pet isn't stressed by other animals, take them to a local dog park. Then you get to meet a whole bunch of buddies. It's also been proven that simply petting an animal helps increase stress-reducing hormones such as oxytocin and reduces the stress-producing hormone cortisol. Even in the absence of your pet, just looking at cute animals online can have the same effect. It's so cool the way that works. So I have a part of my house that I rent out to people, and when they come for the Shakespeare Festival, when it's operative, it's not right now, but there was a couple who would, every single day, they didn't have animals themselves, but they would go to the dog park to play with other people's dogs because they knew that it made them feel better. So playing outside with your fluffy friend improves mental health by getting you moving, reducing stress, creating a distraction from worries, lessening loneliness, making you smile. And I think that's really cool because, you know, the online thing, there's a dog named Stella who likes to jump in leaf piles. And I love watching that dog. It makes me happy. So it really does work if you're feeling kind of down and gloomy. You know, why do we have so many cat memes, so many, you know, funniest dogs and funniest cat kind of things? It's because they make us happy. So dancing is a great way to get you moving too. So join a local dance group to learn some new moves. Now, obviously you can't do this right now, but there are online things that you can do to learn how to dance. So, you know, even if you're doing the dancing online, like I said, it's still fun. You're still maybe interacting with people. So have a dance off in your own living room, because right now that's pretty much all you can do. But when the gyms open back up again, then you could maybe join a local dance group or take a Zumba class or Zumba, sorry. So it's not the place or the moves that matter. Studies show dancing reduces anxiety through being physically active and allowing you to connect the mind and body. So crank up the music and get moving. And the cool thing about doing it in your, living room is that you don't have to worry about whether or not anybody's looking at you. If you've got some body shame going on, you're really not feeling good about yourself, then you don't have to worry about that, because it's going to be taken care of, because there's nobody there watching except you. Okay. Okay, studies suggest finding an exercise buddy helps to beat the blues through social interaction. As people who exercise regularly report a higher sense of well-being and feeling more energetic, adding a friend to the mix will make exercise that much more fun. Exercise is proven to be one of the most effective ways to improve your mental health. And being around loved ones is also a natural stress reliever. An exercise buddy will help motivate you to get you out when you're feeling low, and will give you something to look forward to when you lack the motivation to work out. So clutter. Oh, clutter can be a constant reminder that things which should be getting done aren't. And reasons why clutter can cause stress is it's an excessive stimuli. It acts as a distraction. Every time you walk past it, your brain's going, ooh, I need to take care of that. Not knowing when you're going to get to the bottom of the mess, especially if it's been going on for a long time, it creates anxiety and creates feelings of guilt. It also causes frustration. So straightening up even a small area will give you a sense of accomplishment to energize you enough to get through the next task. And while clearing away clutter, ask yourself if the item is something that's needed or wanted. If not, donate it by giving it to a friend or a local charity. If you've got boxes sitting out in your garage that you haven't looked at for years, you don't need it. And, give it away. If there's clothes that you might grow into someday or might grow out of someday, get rid of them because they're just things that cause more anxiety and more distress, and other people can use it. So once the clutter is cleared, prevent it from building up again by having a designated spot for each item and put everything back where it belongs before leaving the area. I often go through my house and say, does this bring me happiness? Is this something that I want to keep? I mean, what is the reason that I have this in the first place? And a lot of times I would hold on to something because I felt obligated to, because perhaps it was something I inherited from somebody, or somebody had given me as a gift, or maybe my children had made it 100 years ago or whatever. But if it's not something that brings me joy and happiness, it's more distressing to have it around. And so I've given myself permission to take a picture of things and then donate them to somebody else who might actually want them. So using scent therapy, like aromatherapy, can positively boost your mood. So simply add a few drops of your favorite essential oil to a diffuser or a pot of hot water, or put it on a cotton ball, or put it on your palms or your wrist. So aromatherapy is based on the idea that specific fragrances can affect our moods. And so it's true, actually, it does. So here are some oils that may help. Lavender is a well-known calming agent. It also is really good for allergies, by the way. Peppermint is a natural mood booster. Basil will help fight fatigue. Cedarwood or rose help alleviate anxiety. Orange is good for relieving stress. Bergamot is really good as a mood booster. So if you can do, I mean, it seems like everybody's into essential oils nowadays. Just make sure that you get a high quality oil, not one of the cheaper ones, but make sure it's a high quality food grade oil is the best to put on your body, because that way, you're not getting anything that's going to be harmful. So when you're feeling low, look for upbeat tunes to boost your vibe, as various studies have examined the connection between mood and music. Music as therapy goes all the way back to Aristotle and Plato. I mean, and if you don't know when they were like way, way, way toward the beginning of history. So the strong links between music and mood have led to the National Association for Music Therapy, American Association for Music Therapy, and Certification Board for Music Therapists. There's a really cool therapy, which is called vibroacoustic therapy, which I'm beginning to be trained in, and it's so exciting to be able to shift trauma, actually, by way of using vibroacoustic. So that's music and vibration at the same time. It is so cool. So music therapists are now board certified to help patients with managing stress, enhancing memory, and alleviating pain. So a study published in the World Journal of Psychiatry titled Effects of Music and Music Therapy on Mood in Neurological Patients reports that music engages numerous parts of the brain involving emotion and cognition. Music therapy has been recognized to be able to increase both emotional and cognitive functions. There are people who have dementia who can't remember how to talk, but they know how to sing. And that's really cool. So it definitely affects different parts of the brain. So studies show that muscular changes in our faces when we smile naturally elevate happiness. It also helps other people when we smile. So fake it till you make it. And I hate that, really, I do. But looking happy can lead to a mood boost. So one of the things that is really cool is something that's called laughter yoga. And I am a laughter yoga practitioner too. It is so cool to get together with people and laugh. And you may think, I don't feel like laughing. Or you may think, well, what good is it going to do if I force myself to laugh? Well, your subconscious and your body doesn't know if you're faking laughter or not. They don't know. They think it's like, oh, okay, the brain and the body is going through this particular emotion. That is a smile. That is laughter. I should probably stick out some of those lovely endorphins and make you feel better. So laughter yoga is a real honest to goodness thing. It is so cool. Laughter is a new form of exercise, and it feels silly. It really does, but it is so much fun, and it works, and it's extremely contagious. So laughter increases oxygen levels in the brain and fosters positive feelings. Simply start laughing. Even if it's forced at first, you will eventually start laughing naturally. The wonderful thing about laughter also is that when you're doing the laughter yoga, it actually eliminates or causes you to get rid of the stale air that's in the bottom of your lungs. And so then you're going to increase your immune system because you've gotten rid of all the stale air that's just sitting down there because none of us breathe properly. So don't be shy. Just give it a try. Look for a laughter yoga club in your area. They are so much fun. So mood is affected by any number of outside and internal stimuli. Next time you're in need of a boost, try one of the simple techniques that I've talked about today. So let's review. Eat plenty of omega-3, tryptophan, vitamin D, selenium, cacao. I never say it right. Okay. Start a pre-bedtime calming routine. Read, stretch, journal, get active and engage your pets. Go out into nature. Use aromatherapy, listen to music, declutter, and smile. So I'm going to turn this back on. And thank you very much for joining us today. It is so fun to be able to practice and do things that are going to make you feel better. Because remember, 50% of how you feel is in your hands. You're able to take care of it. You can do it yourself. So thank you very much for joining me for this mood boosting. And feel free to send me any questions or any note that you might want to have a conversation with me. You can reach me at Michelle with 2 L's at isoulshift.com. And I'd love to have a conversation with you, and we can talk about how to increase your mood, how to release some of those childhood traumas that may be keeping you stuck in a feeling of not feeling happy. And I'd love to be able to interact with you. So thanks for coming, and have an awesome rest of your day. Bye.